afternoon and welcome to Nationwide News on the network service of the NTA. I am Noleen Abel-Ameh with the news. We begin by telling you that President Bola Tinubu has departed Abuja for Paris to participate in the Summit for New Global Financial Pact, which begins on Thursday, 22nd of June 2023. The president left Abuja at about 11 a.m. via the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport for his first official trip abroad. He will join other world leaders to review and sign a new global financial pact that places vulnerable countries on priority list for support and investment following devastating impact of climate change, energy crisis, and after effect of the COVID-19 pandemic. The two-day summit will also look at opportunities to restore fiscal space to countries that face difficult short-term financial challenges, especially the most indebted, mobilize innovative financing for countries vulnerable to climate change, foster development in low-income countries, and encourage investment in green infrastructure for the energy transition in emerging and developing economies. Special Advisor to the President on Special Duties, Communication and Strategy, Dele Alake says the trip holds a lot of potential for the country.
Essentially, this trip is to further cement Nigeria's economic prospects. Don't forget that a couple of days back, the president made some very critical decisions in the area of the economy, specifically on the unification of the multiple exchange rate of the Naira. And we expect that in the short run, there could be a spike in the value of the dollar to the Naira. And his trip here is to convince the European Union and European investors to bring in the much needed direct foreign investment into Nigeria to shore up the value of our own currency locally in the short run, while all
To the President, Femi Jabiamila, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, among others. The newly decorated IGP appointed by President Bola Tinubu on Monday said he is ready to take on the enemy state within the country.
Me? Ready to chase away all the criminals in Nigeria. And some other time, I feel like a lion in me, ready to devour all the enemies, internal enemies of Nigeria. That's my feeling right now.
We grew up together. I was his boss at the time, not even when I was IG. He worked under me twice. We've been working together, and I know how he can go ahead to champion the cause of the police from where I have stopped.
State House correspondent Musbaud Anwahab reports that the outgoing IGP is expected to hand over to his successor tomorrow, Wednesday. Nigeria has pledged commitment to continue to build empathy and understanding for refugees and asylum seekers across the country in line with the present administration's Renewed Hope agenda. Ruth Agwele reports that the Federal Commissioner, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, Iman Suleiman Ibrahim, affirmed this during a stakeholders' engagement to mark this year's World Refugee Day celebrated every June 20 with the theme, Hope Away from Home.
Stay in Nigeria has actually helped me a lot, though a refugee. While growing up, I had some dreams that I actually wanted to acquire, or dreams I really wanted to achieve in life.
Imagine a life away from home, where your dreams are shattered. Well, that would have been the story of Ndanga if she hadn't sought refuge in Nigeria, she says. A place she has come to love like a home, while fulfilling her dreams by touching lives positively. Ndanga is one out of more than 90,000 refugees living in Nigeria, who today their hope is reignited as the world celebrates Refugee Day, a day set aside to remind nations on providing durable solutions by taking action to promote inclusion.
We need greater international support for host countries, as called for by the Global Compact for Refugees, to boost access to quality education, decent work, healthcare, housing and social protection.
This message of inclusion entails doing all we can to give refugees hope and more opportunities while they are away from home. This means that we should ensure that refugees get access to jobs, enroll in schools and access to services.
The National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons acknowledges the role of refugees by recognizing their resilience, courage and tenacity.
In this moment, we're called to action in our collective responsibility to create opportunities that unlock the full potentials of our refugees and empower them to rebuild their lives. We must open doors and tear down the barriers that hinder their integration and inclusion. Together we can transform refugee experiences into a journey of hope and resilience.
Do not be exaggerated to say that Nigeria as a refugee-friendly country has been doing a lot, giving these people of concerns hope and sense of belonging.
With the theme, Hope Away from Home, which seeks to restore hope for the refugees through strengthened solidarity beyond their exile, so that they can make a difference in their lives away from home. In Abuja, Ruth Agwele, NTA News.
And joining me to talk more on this issue is the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees representative in Nigeria, Chansa Kapaya. You are welcome to Nationwide, Ma.
Thank you.
All right, what does today's World Refugee Day with the theme Hope Away from Home mean for a country like Nigeria that is host to thousands of refugees?
First of all, let me say thank you for having me and for giving me the opportunity to talk about World Refugee Day. I think for a country like Nigeria, which is hosting, as you say, over 90,000 refugees, it's a day not only to show its solidarity with refugees, but also to showcase the generous asylum policy of Nigeria, the favorable asylum regime of Nigeria. Refugees have been welcomed here, refugees have been accepted, refugees have been included, which is the theme of this year's World Refugee Day.
All right, now looking at interventions, what would you say or should be provided for the refugees by the host country?
Well, I think the theme of this year's World Refugee Day captures it all. The theme of this World Refugee Day is three messages, really. Okay. Firstly, we're looking at solutions. Solutions, there is need for peace if refugees are to go home. Without peace, people cannot return to their countries of origin. If they cannot return to their countries of origin, then a country like Nigeria that has welcomed them, that has allowed them to stay, and has allowed them to thrive. With Nigeria's, I would say, approach to refugee policy, refugees here are allowed to work, they're allowed to go to school, they're allowed to interact with their communities without any barriers whatsoever. At the same time, we work with our NGO partners and others to be able to provide refugees with the basics that they need, but that's not enough. What refugees want is to be included, be able to demonstrate that they can contribute to the local economies and the countries that are hosting them. So in a nutshell, what refugees need really is to be able to be given the opportunity to be able to live their lives, because even though they're in exile, they still have to live their lives. They still have hope that one day they probably will be able to go home.
All right, on a day like this, what is your message to Nigerians?
My message to Nigerians is that I've been amazed. I've been really, to be honest, I'm short of words, because the generosity that I have seen in the 3 years that I've been here, of how Nigeria has embraced refugees from Cameroon. We have over 86,000 Cameroonian refugees from the Anglophone side, plus others who are scattered in urban centers within Nigeria from various countries, nearby African countries, as well as others far away, Turkey, Syria. You have embraced, you have included them, you've welcomed them in the true sense. You've given them a sense of belonging. And this is what we are looking for all over the world where we work, where refugees can feel at home, they can feel accepted, they can be encouraged, they can be given the opportunity to dream and to be able to just find solace in the fact that they have been given an opportunity to be able to continue with their lives. So my message is, do continue. I think Nigeria is one model country in West Africa, if not on the continent. Your refugee policies are very, very generous, because once refugees are registered, they are given an identity document, they're able to move around, look for work, and go to school, and they can access healthcare like anybody else. So we really are happy about that.
All right, that's a very good one. Thank you very much, Chancellor Kapaya, for your thoughts on Refugee Day. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, away from that, Ahmad Aliu Sokoto has described the situation he witnessed at the Special Hospital Sokoto as upsetting. The governor rode a tricycle at midnight to pay an unscheduled visit to the hospital. Zainab Saidu Abdul Nasir tells us more.
The unscheduled visit is in response to the public outcry on the condition of the hospital. The governor found most of the wards in the hospital in total darkness. The unscheduled visit, which lasted for over an hour, gave the governor an opportunity to see things for himself. He found patients using their personal torchlight for lack of power supply in the hospital. Some of the nurses interviewed by the governor revealed that their wards had been without power supply for the past 9 months. Speaking shortly after the midnight inspection, Governor Ahmad Aliyu expressed dismay over the condition he found the hospital and the patients. He therefore directed the hospital management to meet him for further discussions on how to address the situation.
I have been receiving so many complaints about the condition of this hospital, that is specialist hospital. That is why I decided to pay unscheduled visit to see things for myself. That is why I'm here. And I went around some of the wards And honestly, I'm not happy with what I have seen.
A former chief medical director of the hospital, Dr. Nuhu Sarkin Kabi, lamented that the lack of power supply is due to the failure of the previous administration to give the hospital the monthly allocations for the past 9 months. In Sokoto, Zainab Saidu Abdul Nasir, NTA News.
Time now to join Adiola in our Lagos Network Center for more reports from that axis. Good evening, Adiola.
Good evening, Noleen. Good to see you. Integrating refugees into the communities where they have found safety is the most effective way of assisting them to restart their lives and contribute to the socio-economic development of host countries. Concerned persons re-echoed this at a gathering put together by the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees in commemoration of this year's World Refugee Day in Lagos. And Dada Ajale has the details.
Apart from destruction and deaths associated with conflicts, one of its existing casualties is the displacement of people from their original settlements to become refugees elsewhere. Gathered in this hall are refugees from different parts of the African countries who have sought safety in the 6 states within the southwest zone of the country. Like other refugees, Kaimba Andrew is a mechanical engineering student at the Yaba College of Technology. In addition to pursuing his dream career, he feels fulfilled being in Nigeria with his parents.
It wasn't really peaceful for us over there. My parents had to escape that life there, hoping for a better life somewhere else. I've gained a lot from being in Nigeria.
So now I learn work, I can speak a little English.
Concerned persons shared their views on the theme for this year's World Refugee Day, Hope Away from Home, and how best the refugees can find comfort in their sojourn.
The theme for the year, Hope Away from Home, is just to give the refugees a kind of second chance that all is not lost. Federal government is taking that responsibility to take care of their welfare.
What we need from the new government is to reinforce the support that the government was providing to refugees in incorporating them in the planning of development.
June 20 every year is set aside by the United Nations General Assembly to strengthen efforts towards raising awareness on the plight of refugees, shed light on their rights, needs, and hopes, with the aim of mobilizing political will for the support and protection of refugees globally. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
Now we'll move on to the currency. The Naira has been strengthened as it rose against the dollar in the last few days since the federal government multiple exchange rates into unified rates in the investor and export windows. Amaka Owo captured the views of some government officials and investors in Lagos on the impact of this important policy to the nation's economy.
The shift in the foreign exchange market brought about by the policy of the present administration that abolished multiple exchange rates has continued to receive applause from all quarters as it promotes the ease of doing business, improve transparency in the market, and stabilize balance of payments.
I can now access forex. If I'm buying it at 750, the other person is buying at 750. It's not that I'll go and buy at 750, other people will go and buy at 450, come and sell to me, then compete with me in my business again.
The issue of holding dollars does not stay again. What the government needs to do now is making the forex available.
As the present administration continues to implement policies which a cross-section of stakeholders, including the Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, applaud these as guidelines to economic transformation, he urged Nigerians to collaborate by fostering and supporting the implementation of these policies in the interest of all.
I am happy I supported President Tinubu. His policy direction, his policy mindsets are such that Nigeria needs to be overhauled towards the right direction. And look at what Bloomberg recorded about how we ought to celebrate his initiatives in these few days in office.
The unification of exchange rates, experts observe, has liberalized the foreign exchange market and will impact tremendously on the physical system of the economy. In Lagos, Amaka Owo, NTA News.
Those are the stories from Lagos, but be reminded that you can still follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on the screen for updates. And so from Lagos, we shall link up with Salamatu in our Kaduna Network Center for the continuation of the news after this break. To stay with us.
Today, faith and destiny join together to place the touch of human progress in our very hands. We dare not let it slip. We lift high this touch so that it might shine on every household and in every heart that calls itself Nigeria. We hold the beam aloft because it lights our path with compassion, brotherhood, and peace. May this great light never extinguish.
What are we doing as a nation to first of all settle our teeming populace, especially the
NTA's political package with a third eye on the nation's political scene? I am Fisa Ogunfuyi. Welcome.
You have to be very careful giving space to people who are obviously sponsored to further the agenda of some other groups.
There's a lot of questions. A lot of questions in a closed door sessions. Some of these issues, some of the problems bedeviling of their.
In fact, between June 1st and July 17, 19-point-something billion has left the coffers of the NDDC.
I can say my constituency, they need everything because we don't have anything.
Your skill is key to your professional growth in the competitive broadcast media industry. Take advantage of the following programs specially packaged by NTA Television College Jos to upgrade your skill. Drama Production Workshop, date 3rd July to 21st July 2023, 3 weeks. Intermediate Online News Reporting Skills, date 24th July to 11th August 2023, 3 weeks. The course fee for the 2-week course is 120,000 Naira, while the fee for the 3-week course is 150,000 Naira only, accommodation inclusive. All courses will hold at NTA Television College near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. For further inquiries, please call 0803-079-5335 or 0806-980-9807. NTA Television College Jos, training you to be the best you want to be. Registrar Announcer.
We must all join hands to work hard so that we build a country for our grandchildren.
My hope is that we develop as a nation where every citizen is given his due right. There is transparency, honesty, and integrity.
Put the interests of this country first and foremost. Interest of Nigeria is being one nation, one people.
The need, if I mean, to put things right, things that have gone wrong before, to try and put right, for the love of country.
And you're welcome to Kaduna on Nationwide.
The Kaduna State Governor, Senator Ubasani, has assured judges of his commitment to give the judiciary all the required support needed to be independent in discharging its duties of fairness and justice to all manner of people in the state. The governor gave the assurance when he visited the Chief Judge of the state, Justice Muhammad Tukur, at the High Court in Kaduna. Umar Ajingi reports.
State Executive Council members led by the governor are here at the conference room of the State High Court to meet the judges of various courts in the state. The governor says the reason for this visit is to appreciate the members of the bench and the bar for their enormous contributions towards the survival of democracy and the matured manner in which the judges are handling cases before their various courts to ensure justice is delivered without fear or favor.
As someone who believes in democracy, rule of law, there is no how we can be able to make any progress without ensuring that these very important three arms of government are working together.
We have a government that is responsive to our needs. His Excellency has assured us that he's going to work with us.
The 23 local government chairmen were earlier at the government house for a similar engagement to discuss possible ways of sustaining the progress being made so far across the state, particularly at the community levels.
We've been partners in progress in the struggle to ensure that Kaduna State becomes what it is and the future holds to be a better place for each and every one of us.
The era of politics is over now. It's about governance. We should be fair to everyone. No sentiments, no party differences, no political differences, and no religious or ethnic differences.
The governor, Senator Ubasani, also sworn in some members of his executive council. The members of the executive council sworn in include the secretary to the state government, Balarabe Abbas Lawal, the chief of staff, Sani Liman, including the head of service. In Kaduna, I'm Muhammad Marajingi, NTA News.
To serve with utter responsibility, accountability and transparency is what the Emir of Gumel, Ahmad Muhammad Sani, is expected of the elected leaders from Gombe Emirate of Jigawa State, the present administration. The Emir stated this at his palace while receiving the governor and other elected officers in the Emirate. Musa Askira tells us more.
The Emir Ahmad Muhammad Sani, who began by congratulating the elected officials in his emirate, admonished them to justify the trust reposed in them by the people of Jigawa State. The Emir advised them to vindicate themselves of the oath of office and allegiance they took for the state through fulfilling the promises they made to the people in the state. The Emir wishes them a successful tenure. The State Deputy Governor Aminu Usman Yakub, while appreciating the kind gesture of the Emir, assured the people of Jigawa State that Umar Namadi administration is set to deliver on the promises it made to the state. An elder statesman, Muhammad Isa Gerawa, urges Jigawa people to support the present administration and make it work for the people of the state.
This show that my people, they love me and they care about me. If not, I will not have this type of honor, actually.
But with this, it shows that these are our colleagues and the deputy governor, they are all accepted in this community.
Observers said the royal advice and encouragements will spur them to serve the state sincerely and diligently. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
And that is it from Kaduna, and still on Nationwide. Noleen will continue from here. Good evening.
Royal Salamatu, thank you. The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the February 25, 2023 presidential election, Atiku Abubakar, and his party have tendered more documents to aid their petition before the Presidential Election Petition Court sitting in Abuja. The petitioners, through their counsel Chris Uche, SAN, tendered 14 batches of certified true copies of the voters' register of the Federal Capital Territory. The documents were provided by the Independent National Electoral Commission upon the issuance of subpoena on its chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. Counsel to INEC, Abubakar Mahmoud, SAN, that of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Wole Olanipeku, SAN, and APC Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, objected to the admissibility of the documents tendered. The Presidential Election Petition Court, led by Justice Haruna Simon Samani, admitted the documents in evidence. However, the attempts by the counsel to the petitioners, Chris Uche, SAN, to tender certified true copies of documents produced by INEC upon subpoena issued on the chairman of INEC on 26 May 2023 was objected to all by the counsel to the respondents. The objection raised by the respondents was as a result of the petitioners' intention to tender certified true copies of documents without proper scheduling. Counsel to INEC, Abubakar Mahmoud, SAN, also informed the court that the petitioners were yet to pay for fees for the documents produced by the electoral umpire. The court adjourned the matter to Wednesday, 21st June 2023 for continuation of hearing with the hope that at the resumed hearing, the documents to be tendered by the petitioners would have been properly scheduled. There are indications that the crisis rocking the Nasarawa State House of Assembly will soon be resolved. This follows the emergency meeting held by the caucus of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in the state with the aim of restoring peace in the assembly. Aliu Tijani has more on this.
It is not well at the State Assembly since the inauguration of the 7th Assembly, with 2 speakers claiming leadership position of the House. The development does not augur well for APC in the state, and this meeting is to resolve the crisis. In attendance at the meeting are Governor Abdullahi Sule, National Chairman of APC Senator Abdullahi Adamu, former Governor Senator Umaru Tanko Almakura, State Chairman of the party, and former National and State Assembly lawmakers, among other stakeholders that constitute caucus of the party. Governor Sule reiterates his commitment to resolve the crisis and ensure one united House of Assembly.
It is a family, and the family will, from time to time, needs to brief itself about what is happening. Good or bad, we may be able to know what is happening in order for us to have a sense of direction, and that's what makes us a family. There is no family that is trouble-free. There is no family that will say they will not have one kind of misunderstanding or the other. But it is normal, to have those, and it is normal actually to scale through once you are having those kind of issues.
Hours after closed-doors deliberation, the state chairman of the party, Dr. John Manman, who briefs the media, says, though the matter is in court, efforts are being made to bring the 2 factions together and resolve all issues.
We've deliberated, and as a family, we all agree that the matter, since in the course of explanation, they are meant to understand, the stakeholders are meant to understand that the matter is in court. And it's only the court that can decide otherwise.
He assures that there is no crisis within the party, as the leadership impasse in the State Assembly will soon be resolved. In Lafia, Aliu Tijani, NTA News.
Elsewhere, in its quest to foster international cooperation in fighting transnational financial crimes in the West African region, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has taken a step to partner Ghanaian Economic and Organized Crime Office. The Ghanaian delegation is on a 4-day working visit to Abuja with the aim of understudying the EFCC and equally to exchange ideas that will enhance regional security and stop illicit financial flows from both countries. The acting chairman of the EFCC says there is need for anti-corruption agencies' collaboration at the regional level in order to discourage cross-border corruption.
This meeting is for us to have a peer exchange of information, share experiences, best practices, and also knowledge, so that we'll be able to see to it that we'll be able to address economic and financial crimes within our borders.
the world has become a global village. Somebody can sit in Nigeria and be committing an offense in Ghana. Or when somebody commits an offense in Nigeria and comes to Ghana, is there a way that we can support EFCC to apprehend that person and bring that person back to Nigeria to face justice?
In the meantime, the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, has put the value of assets it recovered or seized at more than 450 billion naira, with 200 secured convictions from 2019 till date. This was disclosed at a workshop organized by the ICPC for media practitioners, aimed at providing a platform for interaction and coming up with better ways of enlightening the public on the fight against corruption. The chairman of the commission urged the media to play its role in holding government accountable so as to support democratic stability.
We have a duty to close ranks about deciding how we will continue to communicate professionally, bearing the risks of misreporting and fake news in mind, because fake news and misreporting threatens all of us.
As a reporter, as a journalist, I have been exposed to some skills, some areas that I need to know in reporting corruption.
That will give me another leverage to be able to conduct sample opinion polls while writing anti-corruption reports.
In other news, the National Human Rights Commission says it has set up a national hate speech register to record incidences and reports of hate speech across the country, as well as put in place an enforcement mechanism on hate speeches. The development is aimed at bringing trespassers to face the full wrath of the law. The Executive Secretary of the Commission, Tony Ojukwu, SAN, made this known in Abuja at a forum to mark the 2023 United Nations International Day for Countering Hate Speech.
Hate speeches promote discrimination, divisions, incite violence, all of which violate the right to dignity, right to life, and belonging to the society. Hate speech could, as in recent cases, lead to violation of the right to political participation in the case of elections and political process, and impedes voters' participation and access in the election.
We are seeing, on the one hand, evident cases where incitement to violence does not get prosecuted. On the other hand, we also see when it is prosecuted, but that it is used then as an excuse to persecute anyone daring to criticize authorities. So it can be a double-edged sword. There is a real risk that tackling hate speech is abused, and that this then leads to imposing uniformity of views, curtailing dissent. And
the forum was also to educate members of the public on the issues concerning hate speech and its resultant effects on the society. We shall now be joining Susan in our Makurdi Network Center for more on Nationwide. Hi, Susan.
Thank you for joining us in Makurdi. About 1,000 youths and women are to benefit from 101 million naira empowerment scheme tagged Special Grant Transfer from the Taraba State Government. The State Deputy Governor Aminu Alkali announced this while flagging off the program in Jalingo. Godwin Inaligu reports.
The beneficiaries of the Special Grant Transfer are 1,078 economically active women, youths and the vulnerable within the age bracket of 18 to 45 years. Flagging off the disbursement by the State Deputy Governor Aminu Alkali congratulated the beneficiaries and advised them to take good advantage of the opportunity to be productive to themselves and Taraba State at large.
The Taraba Cares program is designed to restore the livelihoods of the poor and vulnerable, maintaining food security and facilitating recovery of MSEs.
The head of Unit Special Grant Transfer, Daniel Calvin, said the objective of the livelihood grant is to provide short livelihood, vocational skills training, and one pay-off grant transfer between 50 and 200,000 naira to cushion the effects of COVID-19 pandemic in the state.
The livelihood grant is expected to scale up social safety net services that provide consumption and livelihood support to the increasing number of poor and vulnerable households in the state affected by COVID-19 pandemic.
Permanent Secretary, Ministry for Cooperative and Poverty Alleviation, Aminu Sabo, and State Coordinator, Taraba Cares, Tijani Magaji, reiterated the determination of the ministry to support the government at all levels in stemming the tide of poverty. 101,900,000 naira is expected to be disbursed to the beneficiaries of the special grant transfer across the state with of Usa, Karim Lamido, and the 2 special development areas who were not reached as a result of the crisis that plunged the area in Jalingo, Godwin, Inalegu. NTA News.
Medical experts say more investments need to be made in providing financial and other support in order to reduce burden of sickle cell disease in Nigeria. This came to the fore of the discourse as the country joins the international community to commemorate this year's Sickle Cell Day. Blessing Omeche Ebute has details.
Sickle cell disease is the blood cell disorder that causes red blood cells to take on a sickle shape due to an abnormality in the oxygen-carrying protein called hemoglobin. According to reports, Nigeria bears the highest burden of sickle cell disease globally and is the top sickle cell endemic country in Africa with an annual infant death toll of about 140,000. Blessing Ogleku has been living with sickle cell disease for 28 years.
The most serious one was the one of last 2 years. Actually, that one almost took my life, but I really appreciate God who helped me. It was a serious experience that I never wanted even my enemy to experience it. It was really, really bad.
World Sickle Cell Day is aimed at increasing public awareness and understanding of the disease as well as the challenges faced by patients, their families and caregivers.
We have over 100,000 sicklers born every year in this country. So it's a time that we go out to the public to enlighten the public on the burden of sickle cell in this country, and more so to also enlighten them on how to prevent sickle cell anemia. Because we believe that if there is prevention, then you can be able to stem down sickle cell anemia in Nigeria.
Formation of groups of people with the sickness, so that together they can have a circle for themselves, share their problems, and then help provide more enlightenment to the public.
Experts advocate free medical care program for people living with sickle cell disease and increased awareness by health authorities on the menace of the disease. In Makurdi, Blessing Omeche Ebute, NTA News.
That's our package from Makurdi. Nationwide continues with Noleen in Abuja right after this break.
Subsidy can no longer justify its ever increasing cost in the wake of dry resources. We shall instead rechannel to fund to better investment in public infrastructure, education, healthcare, and jobs that will materially improve the lives of our people.
I'm fascinated with the discourse on national monuments and assets and how much is being done to preserve and
look into the language issue. We have turned English to become like a pride value in our own cultural values.
It's not cash transfer. It's not a COVID-19.
Invasion 1897 was a deliberate calculation.
Many of these people coming to the urban areas now.
And applications, there are terms and conditions that
of course it is the union of two people
a man and a woman coming together.
My name is Namdi Odipo.
And I'm Elizabeth Omori.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview channel 264, or live streaming via www.visiontv.co.uk. Application for iOS or Android. Intelsat 901/332.5 degrees east. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
Nigeria means unity.
Nigeria means freedom to me.
Nigeria means greatness to me.
Nigeria is indivisible. There is nothing you can do. We all have to salvage it together and learn to love each other. We are indivisible.
As a mother and a leader, I will always preach for peace and unity in this country, because that is the only thing that will give us progress. Though tribes and tongues may differ, in brotherhood we stand. And it is the woman that does that.
Thank you for rejoining us on Nationwide, and this is Abuja. The head of Civil Service of the Federation, Dr. Folasade Emieson, has called for partnership with the National Productivity Center for effective implementation of the performance management system. The head of service met the call while receiving the National Productivity Order of Merit from the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment, Kachalum Daju, and the Director General, NPC, Dr. Raji Mustafa Hamman. Jabani reports.
The performance management system, which is aimed at promoting employers' accountability in the delivery of service, is to install culture of productivity, access to one's work based on given target, and to stop the norm of workers getting promoted without working for it. Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment, and the Director General of the National Productivity Center commended the head of the civil service for initiating laudable reforms, which are fast turning Nigeria's civil service into a world-class standard. They praised the effort of the head of civil service in bringing creativity to bear in the service and briefing her of the ongoing plan by the center to come up with a productivity wage link system aimed at connecting the productivity of workers to their wages. The head of civil service, Dr. Folasade Emieson, expressed joy in the fact that something commendable is going on in the NPC in the area of linking productivity to wages, which will help measuring workers who really deserve salary increment so as to curb the continuous clamor for increment without commensurate work to show for it. She pledged to assist them in the needed areas. National Productivity Order of Merit is in recognition of her exceptional leadership and remarkable contribution to the growth and development of the Federal Civil Service. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
Despite availability of e-books and e-libraries, it's been observed that the young generation and some groups of the society have not imbibed the habit of reading. To this end, the National Library of Nigeria is worried and is on its tours promoting reading campaigns in fulfillment of its mandate. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, at this year's Flag of Readership Promotion campaign put together by the National Library of Nigeria, believes that the nation's level of development can be assessed by the people's reading culture.
People that don't read are far more susceptible to having difficulties in living a life of dignity. The government is stimulating reading of books, newspapers, magazines. And this is especially important at a time when an increasing number of people are getting discouraged.
The National Library is poised to actualize its dream to connect and build an informed society.
This year's campaign, with the theme Read Your Way to the Top, is strategically designed to focus on leading competitions among students. The more one reads, the more knowledge of words and language the person acquires. The more one reads, the more fluent the one becomes. The more one reads, the easier it becomes to sustain the mental effort necessary to comprehend complex situations.
Students of public schools in the FCT, including the verbal and audio impaired, made presentations on the importance of reading in human existence. Let's shift our attention to security now. Nigerian Army has restated resolve to deploy all its platforms in accomplishing assignment missions within joint environment in defense of Nigeria. General Officer Commanding 1 Division Nigerian Army Major General Olufemi Akinjobi gave the assurance during the division's Operations Planning Cadre 2023 held at the headquarters of the division in Kaduna. Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachiku reports.
Participants drawn from the ranks of captains to colonels in 1 division area of responsibility converged to deliberate on aspects of operational planning with a view to enhancing their skills and capacity in single and joint operations.
Due to changes in the nature of threats,
dynamics of war environment, especially in areas like Birnungwari, Kagara, and other flashpoints and lessons learned, informed the symposium to identify gaps in the conduct of their operations.
The Nigerian Army equally recognizes these changes and therefore seeks to develop capacity through realistic training that will enhance its operations.
The operations cadre this year is expected to also explore ways of building on existing efforts in the 1 division's area of responsibility. Suleiman Gachkun, NTA News.
Up next is sports news.
They just concluded World Table Tennis Contender Series, which ended at the Molade Okoye Thomas Indoor Sports Hall of the Teslim Balogun Stadium, Lagos, provided a huge opportunity for Nigerian players to get more international exposure and garner more ranking points ahead of the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris. About 150 players from 25 countries competed in the week-long tournament, which was dominated by the Asians.
What we've seen here, we see that what we're lacking now is the development of our young players. That next step, and that is coaching. It's funding and coaching, funding to get the right coaches in.
We still have some series of national championship. We have the all-female championship to take place here in Lagos. We have the youth league also coming up.
The national top 12 squash tournament started off Tuesday at the Lagos Lawn Tennis Club, with the top-ranked men and women players vying for honors. The tournament, which will last for 3 days, would be used to ascertain the current rankings of the national squash players.
Just to show you that the world community is also seeing what we're doing. The World Squash Federation is asking us to stream this and give them their link so that we can broadcast this on the World Squash TV channel.
So the CAF Super Cup, reigning champions of the Nigerian Premier Football League, Eyimba Football Club International, have secured a spot in the upcoming 2023 Africa Super League, organized by the Confederation of African Football, CAF. FIFA President Gianni Infantino had announced plans for the Super League 4 years ago, before CAF established the competition 2 years later, and then launched its first edition in Tanzania on the 30th of August 2022. The tournament is expected to feature 24 elite African clubs playing in a league format, with the top 2 making the round of 16. Eyimba and its counterpart will look forward to the 17th of August 2023, which is the proposed date for the tournament to kick off. To grassroots football, the 6th edition of the Bola Akindele Under-16 football tournament has kicked off at the Nigerian Railway Institute football pitch, Lagos. The tournament, organized by the Lagos State Grassroots Soccer Association, will see 32 teams in the boys category and 24 in the girls category, vying for honors.
Bringing out these young men and women, allowing them to showcase their talents, and then projecting them not just locally, but over the state and nationally.
Sports update, Gift George, NTA News.
On a solemn note, the final rites for late Raymond Dokpesi, the founder of DA Communications, starts today with a requiem mass at the Church of Assumption at Sokoro, Abuja, to pray for his repose of his soul. Late Raymond Dokpesi died on Monday, May 29, after a mishap while using the treadmill machine. The 71-year-old deceased was a veteran media entrepreneur who owned television and radio stations. And that concludes Nationwide. Thank you for watching. I am Noleen Abel-Ameh. Good evening.